Okay, this video is about Section 3 of your Advancement in Rank portfolio. So Section 3 is going to be your teaching philosophy, methodologies, and applications. So I feel like this is kind of the biggest, most important part, since we are, we're all professors or trying to be, assistant professors, associate professors, but teaching is really our main goal here. So you want to take a lot of time and spend a lot of effort in this section. So the first one is your teaching philosophy, and that should be, maybe I'm going to say 2 pages. There's a maximum of 3 pages for your teaching philosophy, and then your teaching methods, strategies, improvements, and innovations. So I guess it depends on which one you feel like you have a little more of, but in total that's going to be a maximum of 3 pages. And they're going to be firm on that. If they say 3 pages, they mean 3 pages. So don't do 4, you know what I mean? Don't I wouldn't say even do 2. I'd say try to literally go, you could do 2 if you have it all in there. But so 3 is our goal. So the first section, again, talks about your teaching philosophy. So why are you teaching? Why are you here? Not just what you do, because 3.1b will explain what you do. What are your methods? What are your strategies? What innovations do you use in the classroom? The 3.1a is kind of the why. You want to give the people who are looking at your portfolio and considering you for advancement kind of the reason behind your teaching. And to me, that's more of like that bigger picture. Maybe it's a little bit more of like the touchy-feely types of it, to say, why is this meaningful to me? Why am I not just working in industry? Why am I here working with these students? What do I hope that they take away after they have a semester with me? So again, it's more of like your values and your beliefs on teaching and learning. And then you want to have short-term and long-term goals. So again, if it's student success, if it's student access, if it's that you want them to develop professionalism that they, do in the workplace, kind of whatever those real goals are, and it probably depends on what you teach. Obviously, we want them all to be successful, but there's probably a little bit more specifics that you could get into. And you want to clearly identify those. So you want to have, what's my philosophy, these are my short-term goals, and these are my long-term goals. And then section 3.1b is kind of what do I do in the classroom. So it's not just, it's not just more that touchy-feely. It's like, what do I actually do? So, for instance, I do some YouTube videos in my Web3 classes. So it's giving them a little bit more of that visual, like, learning. I can write on the board behind me. Do you do things like that? Or do you have a really cool game that you play with the students that gets them interacting? The thing you want to remember, or you maybe just assign a project that's very thought-provoking and in-depth, and it's a big part of their grade. You can say it's that project. You can put that piece of your syllabus that outlines that project right into your document. As an example, you are allowed to have up to 3 examples, and they could be links. So for instance, with me in the YouTube, all I would do is have that YouTube link. You got to make sure it works, so that it should be a hyperlink. They could click on it, and then boom, it opens up that video. Or if you had some sort of an interactive game, again, you want it to be able to link and to click. And I think for some of them, you had to go out to like the Google Drive. Like, so say it's on your hard drive. Obviously, they can't link it to your hard drive, so you'd have to save that file out to a Google Drive that they could link on, that then you'd share that link with them. So play around with that if you have that type of thing. So give yourself plenty of time to make sure that those links work. But so then you're going to discuss those and then have your supporting documentation or to show what you've done. So say for me, I had a video that I created of using a financial calculator, and then I had a YouTube video. I put a little paragraph above the link that explained what it was, just because, again, in your advancement and rank review committee, there's people from all over the college, so they may not use that calculator, they may not understand even what I'm talking about, so you want to kind of give them a little bit of a highlight of why you assign this or why you include this in your Web3 classes or whatever you do. So I had a little paragraph and then the link, and then the discussion. Okay, then you get into your student evaluations. So you'll have a reflective narrative about those, and that really should discuss what do you do with those student evaluations. How do you take them to make your class better? Do you read them and then make the suggestions that the students say, or adjust your tests if there were or assignments or kind of whatever? Are you using that feedback to better your classroom experience and to help your students be more successful in the future? Also, say you're in a unique situation where you are, working with another instructor and there's two of you there, and maybe some of the comments relate to that other instructor. That gives you also a place that you can explain that. You can say, hey, this is in my student evals, but it's because I team teach with this other person, or I run the lab and she runs the lecture. Because there's different environments within the college, and again, you always have to remember that the Advancement in Rank Review Committee is from all divisions, so they may not have that same experience. So the more you can explain to them, the better, because that's all they can look at is what's in your portfolio. So use that narrative, to kind of accurately give them the view to look at those student evals, and then how do you use those to improve your classroom environment. Then you're going to want to upload all your evals. That's going to be in a separate part of Blackboard, but you don't want to manipulate those at all. You may have to change the names so that they follow the order of the list that you'll be pulling from MyStarkState to say, hey, these are all of my classes that I teach. You want to make sure that each class that you teach has a student evaluation associated with it. And again, reach out to the Office of Student Evaluations to get any ones that you're missing. Make sure you account for anything that's missing. So say you taught an independent study and there was no evals. Either there wasn't any generated, or maybe it was online and no students took the evals. You want to explain that. So my advice is to create a file that has that class's name in it, and then it's just a statement that says this was an independent study and there are no student evaluations, so that they know you didn't leave anything out intentionally. You do not have to include your instructor profiles. Those kind of come in a separate file. So just each individual class, and again, you want to make sure that they tie out to that banner report. And then if you had any other feedback, you're allowed to have a maximum of 5 examples. So say a student sent you a card, or they sent you an email, or something like that said, hey, thank you so much, you're a great instructor, you made my semester wonderful. Those are things that you do want to save and include. So you can have up to 5 of those, and those you can scan in and put them in as pictures. If you received any awards or recognition, again relating to your teaching, so say you were the outstanding teacher that year, you'd obviously want to include that in there. So I do feel like Section 3 is a very, very important section, so take it very seriously. Make sure your philosophy is good. My advice, too, is to have somebody else read it over. I wrote mine, and I thought, makes perfect sense. Do you know what I mean? I read it, really good. But then you have somebody else who's maybe, especially outside your division or your department, read it, and I got a lot of good feedback from those other people that was like, this isn't quite so clear, I don't completely understand that, maybe regroup this. So it's very important to get that feedback, and I think from somebody outside of your division or your department. And then take those suggestions seriously and make those changes. And always, our mentorship committee, the Advancement in Rank Mentorship Committee, is there to help you with exactly that type of thing. So hopefully that helps you. And then I will have a separate YouTube video for sections 4 and 5.